Have you guys ever looked at like a product, like a game, or maybe even an app or a program that you didn't like? You know, there was something you just really didn't like about it, but everyone else did. Something that you looked at and went, that is not something I would ever use, ever play, you know, and yet everyone else really likes it. That's how I feel about Pandora. I'm not actually sure why Pandora is as popular as it is. And don't get me wrong, objectively, Pandora is a really nice app and a really great way to listen to music. I personally do not like it, and this video is going to be very subjective. Don't get me wrong, I don't hate Pandora, and I don't think that Pandora should go bankrupt. I don't want them to, stop or anything. I think that what they're doing is great. I can't figure out why in the world it exists, and I'm gonna go over some things about it that I really don't like. And in any other scenario, like any other app, this I feel wouldn't be acceptable, even in games and stuff like this. The first thing I don't really like about Pandora is I don't get to listen to my music. When I download music, I might or might not get it for free. But when I get my music, I put it in playlists in iTunes and I listen to it, right? But with Pandora, I thought the way people had explained it to me, it would be simpler. I'd pick an artist and I'd go. But I picked an artist, I picked Johnny Cash, and it started playing Willie Nelson songs and Waylon Jennings songs and songs from that era. And I was like, no, 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 I just wanted to listen to Johnny Cash. And maybe I did it wrong. Maybe there's some artist lookup thing where I can only listen to his stuff. But that just kind of annoyed me because it wasn't actually as simple as I was hoping it was going to be. And, subjectively, I didn't give it enough time, you know. The second thing is the annoying ads, There are these ads that come up after every maybe 4 or 5 songs. And you can argue, well, the radio does that too, and the radio has like maybe 5 or 6 commercials during. And yeah, you're right. The radio does have like 5 or 6 commercials during, or in between maybe 10 songs, right? But the thing is, when I'm listening to the radio, I can change the station. When I'm listening to Pandora, I have to endure that 15-second video that's going on there. And if I'm plugged into my, maybe Ion speaker, that can be a really annoying thing. Especially some commercials, for whatever weird reason, some commercials are like 10 times louder than the songs that are playing, and I don't understand that. I just don't like not being able to change the channel when a commercial comes on. And when it comes down to it, you may as well just listen to the radio. At least this is for me. I just think that I would prefer listening to the radio over Pandora, because of basically that. Here's another thing that really does bother me, and this gets into the other things. If you want to remove ads, you can pay for Pandora. Now, normally I'm okay with that. Normally, like when apps are free, there's a good way. Ads are a good way to make your revenue. And then people who purchase the app monthly, they're helping too. So, that's generally a good thing. However, this is the part where I feel this is kind of scummy. You can skip songs with Pandora, right? But you can only skip so many times. But if you purchase Pandora, you can skip infinitely. And that's where it bothers me. Because see, on iTunes, I got my music and I can just skip anytime I want. On the radio, I can change the channel anytime I want. And don't get me wrong, I'm making it sound like Pandora is this terrible thing and everyone should hate it right now. I don't care if you like it or hate it. I don't personally hate it. I really don't understand why it's so popular. It just, Pandora feels really, really limited. You know what I mean? Like, it's this app that just limits you, and I don't like that feeling. I don't like feeling limited. And that's why I don't like Apple products so much. That's why I don't like Pandora. It wouldn't feel so bad if the whole skip thing wasn't incorporated into, well, if you purchase this, you can skip any song. It's just, it's scummy incentive, and I'm not surprised. A lot of companies do that, with the whole pre-order thing for games and DLC for games and microtransactions for games coming out recently. I'm not surprised that Pandora is, I mean, it's a company and they want to make money, It's just, when it comes down to it, I don't hate what they're doing. I don't hate Pandora itself. And honestly, I don't even think I dislike Pandora. I just know I would never use it. And it makes me wonder why so many people do. It's that kind of thing where, what are you into it for? I can't understand. Why do you like Pandora? The way I see it, it's easier to just shuffle a playlist on your phone, download music to your phone, or listen to iTunes, or listen to the radio. It's easier, I feel like I'm jumping through hoops when I'm using Pandora. And yet, Pandora's used more than almost all those. And that's why this bothers me so much, and that's kind of why I'm making this video. I'm not sitting here saying, hey, everyone should hate Pandora. Pandora is terrible. Pandora's the Hitler of all programs. Everyone just delete it, because that's ridiculous. If you like Pandora, there's nothing I would want to say to change your mind. There's nothing I do want to say to change your mind. I really cannot understand why it's so popular. Anyway, sorry about that ramble. I know that was a very odd subject, but like, it does bother me. It makes me wonder. See you guys later.